Mr. Retro here, and I have two boxes to open from Video Games Monthly. So let's go ahead and jump in and check them out. So I have two boxes today for a pretty silly reason. One, I just forgot. I forgot to do January's. January got kind of busy for me, so this was January's box, and we'll go ahead and just get the packaging off of both of these. Now, if you're interested about Video Games Monthly, the website will be linked down in the description below, and if you would like to take a look at them, just go ahead and click over there. They have different subscription prices and sizes. I do 5 games a month, but they go from 3 all the way up to 10. And the best thing about them is that you get to keep the games when you're done. You don't have to send anything back in, and it's a really cool service. On their website, you create your account, you go in, and you click what systems you have and what systems you have games for, and then you click which games you already have, so they don't end up sending you duplicate games. So you just go in there, click the games you have, and then they send you games you don't have. So it's pretty interesting. So this is January's box, and let me put it up there a little closer. Pretty normal, no swelling or anything in it. And this is February's, and you can kind of already tell February's has got something good in there. It's a little swollen up towards the front, so it's either got some bigger games in there that didn't quite fit, or maybe a couple extra. So what I mean by a couple extras, sometimes they send in additional games and they put a little note that says you got a 1-up or a 2-up or however many extra they put in there. So let's go ahead, jump into January's box. And immediately I see something really pretty cool. So the first thing I see is a 1-up. So I know I now have 1 extra game here. So that should be 6 total in this box. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. Oh, the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle for the Nintendo Game Boy. Pretty awesome. The cart for this looks fantastic, and so does the label. Like, this looks like it has no wear on it whatsoever. There's barely any wear down in here where you can tell it's been in and out of a Game Boy. But this is a really good looking cart. Now that I see their thank yous, and as always, if you share a photo of your box, you have a chance to win 3 free games, and they pick 2 random winners to win those 3 free games, and I think that goes in their next box. I don't know where to jump in first. I see already some pretty cool stuff. Now, they also do import games too. They have the Famicom, Super Famicom, and the Nintendo 64 in Japan. So, like I said, Nintendo 64 in Japan, I got Kirby 64. I love Kirby. I love everything Kirby. And this is really heavy. There must be a lot in this cart. But go ahead and take a closer look at that, and you'll see that the whole cart is in good shape. The back label looks good. The front label looks pretty good. A couple little scuffs in there. Very, very cool cart to get. Another import was The Legend of Zelda. This is the Majora's Mask. So this should be pretty cool. I've never actually played this game in the English version of this game, so I may have to get that so I understand what's happening with this one. But still pretty awesome. If you go ahead and take a look at the cart, you can see that the case is in pretty good shape. The front label and the back label are both really good. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. I see 2 mobile games, so let's jump into this Game Boy game. This is WrestleMania 2000. I used to love the old wrestling games. They're so ridiculous and fun, and I used to watch wrestling a little bit as a kid. I don't really watch it much now, but still really cool to get games like this. The cart looks great. These carts this time around are really good. The label looks really neat. Very, very little scuff marks and depressions into it, but the cart looks fantastic, so very, very good. The next one I see is Fairly Odd Parents Shadow Showdown for the Game Boy Advance. I love Game Boy Advance games. I've been kind of in a kick lately of wanting to really dive into some of my Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games and just kind of play through a bunch. So this may end up going in the rotation of ones that I just kind of power through. But the cart looks great. Front label looks pretty good. Yeah, some really good looking carts this time. Now I see something sealed. It's a greatest hits of Final Fantasy IX. I've never actually played Final Fantasy IX, but I've heard this is some of people's favorite of the series. I personally, I'm a big fan of 12. I like the whole Gambit system, but Final Fantasy IX has definitely piqued my interest. And since it's sealed, I think this might have been resealed. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to crack this bad boy open and I'm going to play it because this looks awesome. The case underneath looks to be good on the front. I think there is a couple small cracks in the back, but other than that, very, very nice. And inside they usually throw in a couple goodies, usually something that has their own branding on it. So we got a Video Game Monthly Play the Past into the Future bracelet, and then I got a Super Mario pencil, so that'll be fun to have. For those of you who don't know, I'm a teacher, so having just fun pencils is always fun. My kids at school will really enjoy those. So I'm going to push these games kind of off to the side on the box so I don't get them mixed up with February's box, and we can jump into February's as well. So let me do that, just tidy up. Also, while I'm getting this kind of all moved around, if you are ever interested in following me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, links will be down in the description for those as well. It's pretty much just Mr. Retro at all those places. If you just search me, it's MMRRETRO. I post a lot more to the social media than I do to YouTube, so if you ever want to keep track of what I'm playing, what I'm doing, things like that, you can always check those out. Now, February's. This one has a nice swollen front, so I'm very, very curious, and I've been really getting energized to see what everyone has been getting. So I've been checking out Video Game Monthly's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and lots of people have been posting their boxes. So I've been just raring to get into here and getting these open. So opening this one up. Oh man, okay. See a bunch of stuff. I see Old School Gamer Magazine special GamerCon issue. That's awesome. I follow Old School Gamer Magazine. I haven't quite dipped into that yet, but this is really cool. It's sad that they had to hold it, but man, this is really neat. And it even has Bomberman holding Video Game Monthly. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. I'll have to really dive into this more by itself. But very interesting. Also got another 1-up, so I know that this box has one additional game. The thank you and the Facebook share. Yes, Secret Agent Clank. I never had this game, but I did play it on a friend of mine when I was younger, when I first got my PSP. And this is a sealed copy of the greatest hits of Secret Agent Clank. I love my PSP. It's honestly one of my favorite handheld devices that I ever had. It was one of the first things that really could do games, movies, music, pictures. It was just so cool, and I just feel like it never quite got utilized the right way. Same thing with its successor, the Vita. I feel like it just didn't quite grasp everyone's attention in the right way, even though it's a great piece of hardware and really, really outperforms a lot of other systems of its time, handheld wise, and could do so much. The UMD, unfortunately, was kind of a thing that held it back, but I just loved the little discs. It was very futuristic, you know, whenever you watch those movies back in the early 90s that showed things happening in the future. Everything was on mini discs, so having a UMD kind of felt a little bit like that. But this is a sealed copy, so I'm very excited to see this. It looks to be in great shape. I'll give you a little closer look. And I'm very excited to kind of jump back into this. The whole Ratchet and Clank series is phenomenal anyway, but this is really pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. So I will definitely be jumping into this. I see another Game Boy Advance game. This is Medabots Axe. I've never played this before, so I will have to really dive into this and see what it's all about. I don't know if it's based on a series that I just might not be familiar with, but I will definitely give it a shot. There's not really much on the label, or I'll give you a little closer look. It's not much on the label that you can kind of see for what the game is, which is kind of unfortunate with Game Boy Advance games. You can't quite see what's going on. On some of the older retro games, the box art and things like that, the front label kind of give you just a little peek what's inside, but with these smaller game cartridges, it's tough to do with a smaller label. But the cart looks great. Now, I see Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. Now, I actually have this game on the Sega Genesis. I have the Special Championship Edition, but this, I've never played just the regular Street Fighter 2. So this will be a really fun, slight difference for me. I know they changed little bits of things and the speeds of things in the Championship Edition, so this will be kind of fun to jump into. There's something kind of off about this cart. It doesn't quite feel right. It feels interesting. It kind of feels like it was put back together. Maybe they had to check to see if it was a legit board inside. I will have to kind of crack this open and check for myself. Or if Video Game Monthly happens to see this, if they can leave a comment about it, that might help me a little bit and save me from popping this thing open. But either way, even if it's a repro, not bad. Like, I'm not huge into having not having reproductions, but if I have one, not a big deal. If I don't, great. But just being able to play the game is really what's enough for me. I see Excitebike for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is great. I love Excitebike. I used to play this on the computer all the time when I was younger. There was a lot of our school computers had just a few games, and one of them had Excitebike on it, and I loved playing it. So playing it on the Nintendo is going to be a lot of fun. Cart looks to be in really good shape. Label is a little tore up, especially up here towards the top, and I'll show you a little closer. Kind of see the torn label. And then you kind of see it's starting to come up a little bit on the left side, but really, other than that, it's really pretty good shape. And this game is for the Nintendo 64 in Japan, and I don't know what it is. So once I do the translation for it, I will pop that in underneath. As I give you guys a close-up, I'll just pop it in on the bottom of the screen so you guys can see what the actual name of it is. Looks kind of interesting, looks kind of doodly, like drawings on there, but yeah, I'll show you guys what that is. Alright, and then an Intellivision game. This is super exciting. Yes, I'm very excited about this. So, Intellivision, awesome. Intellivision, Atari kind of all came out at that same time, and getting a game in the box is always a lot of fun. Box is a little beat up. I'll show you guys a little close-up of the box and what's inside. So this is Night Stalker, which is a great game. As I open it up, it comes with a couple of inserts and the cartridge. And then it's also got the manual for it as well. But the box itself, even though it's a little beat up and doesn't quite stay together, it's still in decent shape. You can definitely tell what it is. And yeah, another Intellivision game. That's great. Awesome. So there are a lot of games to kind of run back through. So let's start with February's and work our way back through to January. So last you just saw was Night Stalker for the Intellivision. We have this game, which you'll see the title again underneath, for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. We have Excitebike for the Nintendo Entertainment System. We have Secret Agent Clank for the PSP. Very excited to jump into this. Medabots for the Game Boy Advance. And Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. And gotta check out this cart, make sure it's legit. And with this one, I also got a copy of the special GamerCon issue of Old School Gamer magazine. So very, very cool February box. And switching these out, we have let's see, Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. We have Kirby 64, also for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. We have Fairly Odd Parents, Shadow Showdown for the Game Boy Advance. WrestleMania 2000 for the Nintendo Game Boy. The Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, also for the Nintendo Game Boy. And we have Final Fantasy IX Greatest Hits Edition for the PlayStation. Very excited about this one as well. So, that's it for both of my boxes for both January and February. But like I said before, if you want to check me out on any of my social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that, go ahead and click down below or just search me as Mr. Retro, MMRRETRO, in any of those, and you'll probably find me at the top of the list. But if you like this video, please hit like. If you want to see more content from me, please hit subscribe. I plan on doing some more different kinds of videos. It's just kind of with teaching and everything, it kind of gets a little hectic. So we will, I'm going to try to get more videos out and do some more stuff. So if you want to check out some more that I have, please hit subscribe. Well, thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.